Hey everyone, Mary Pat here, and today I'm going to be breaking out the brand new December new stamp set from Some Odd Girl, and this is Frenchy Cody. He is just about the cutest little Frenchman you've ever seen in your life. And then we've got some very fun sentiments, the X and O, the bonjour, you and me equals we, and a cute little heart. So totally in love with this new set. So I'm going to be making today a clean and simple card using 3 of the new stamps. So first I'm going to be working on Cody, and I am using my Memento Tuxedo Black ink, and I'm stamping that out because I'm going to be coloring him with my Spectrum Noir markers. So first I'm going to be starting on the skin tones, and I'm going to be using the FS 2, 4, 5, and 6 markers. And so I'm starting and just creating a light layer of my lightest shade all around on those. And then I'm going in with my FS4 and just kind of going in and just adding a little bit more of a darker shade on his skin, and just kind of going around. And then I'm going in with my darkest shade, and again, like under the hairline, adding just a little bit darker. Then I'm going with FS6, and this gives it just kind of that he has kind of like a rosy cheeks look. And I'm going back in with my FS2, and I'm just kind of blending all of those colors together on all of that. Now, next, I kind of envision him wearing like gray pants, gray denim jeans, and so I'm going to be using the colors on the IG collection, and I'm using the lightest shade right now, and that's the number 2, and just putting a layer down. Next I'm going with my darkest shade, and that is the IG5, and I'm just kind of going with the natural lines and just kind of adding a very thin layer into that. Now I'm going with IG4, and I'm just kind of going right up against that and pulling a little bit of the color towards the center of the pant leg on both sides, and just kind of adding a little bit more dimension on there. Now I'm going back with my FS2 and just kind of blending both sides together on that. So I envision him in these gray pants, and then I'm going back in with the darkest shade just to give it a little bit more emphasis and going around there. I like that. And his shirt is going to be in a black and red color combo. So I'm going to start off this time with my lightest as the number 5, and then move in with the 7 and 8 colors. So I'm going to have that. And I'm trying to decide kind of like which ones to go with. So I'm going to put down a layer of color with the 5, and this is going to be striped. So I'm going to start up at the top, and I'm going to then work my way down and color each of the sections with the gray that I'm looking for. So just trying to get all of those in with that. Okay, now I have that, and I'm going with my darkest shade, my IG7, and again I'm starting at each end, and I'm just adding a little bit of dimension in there. And I'm going on each side and just putting just a little bit, kind of flicking a little bit of color in there, and so you can kind of see how it's shaping. Now I'm going in with my IG6, and I'm going to be pulling some of that color, the darkest shade, into the center, and then leaving the center a little bit with the lighter part. Now I want to get in with my reds, the DR, and I'm starting with DR2, and I'm just going to put a layer down with all of my parts, and I'm also going to color in his scarf with that. And so you can see here that I'm kind of finishing up one of the tails from the scarf. And again, that's in the lightest shade, and that's the 2 with that. So now I want to go in with my DR5, and again I'm starting on each side, and I'm just kind of flicking a little bit of color out towards the center. And now I'm going in, I'm sorry, the last color was DR6, and now I'm going in with DR5. Sorry about that, I got the two colors mixed up. And so again, kind of going and leaving the center there just to kind of give it a little bit of light in the center. Now I want to move on, and I want his cute little shoes and his little beret to be totally black with that. And so I'm going to be using the IG8 and 9 color combo. So I'm going to be starting off and with my shoes, and I'm going to put a layer down of the 8, and then I'm just going to just flick a little bit of color around the edges with the 9. So basically now I'm going to do the same that I did with his shoes and put a layer down of the IG8 for his cute little beret. Just kind of filling that in. And now on the sides I'm just adding a little bit of shading on that around the top part. Now I want to do his hair, and I'm going to do FS2, TN7, and TN9. And so I'm just going to put I was looking at his mustache. His mustache is cute. But a layer of the 2 down, and now I'm going in with my medium shade, my TN7, and I'm just kind of flicking a little bit of color where his hair is, and then filling in a little bit on his mustache and eyebrows. Next I'm going with my darkest color and my TN9, and again I'm just putting a little bit, kind of flicking some color, kind of looks like some separated hair in there on his mustache and eyebrows and the little bit of hair that's there. I want his eyes to be green, and so I'm going to use the DG2 and the DG3. I'm first going to put a layer down of the lightest color, and then I'm going to take like the top third and go in with my darkest color, the DG3, and then just the top part of that eye. And then I'm going in again with the lightest color, and I'm going to go right up to that line and try to pull some of the color down. So it kind of goes dark, middle, and then light at the bottom. I kind of like that look. So now then I cut him out. I'm starting with my base card, and then I cut a black cardstock and by 4 and 5 1/4, and then I have a 1-inch strip here that I'm going to attach going diagonal. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create my own background with this. And I'm going to put Cody right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this. Now, if you can see my mat that's always there, it is has the grid on it. And I love this because it helps me line things up. And so I just put a little bit of the washi tape down. And the grid, now I can perfectly find a straight by the ends of the ruler, half of an inch. So I'm just lightly going with my pencil and coloring in a line so my 1-inch strip is divided equally in half. So I've got now my 2 colors that I'm going to be using, and that is the gray and the red. And I'm going to be stamping. My block has lines on it, so I'm matching my lines directly up with the line that I drew. And I'm just stamping my sentiments. So I love that X and O. And so I'm just kind of I'm not really having a pattern. I'm just putting in gray and then throwing in a splash of the red with that. It's just to kind of give it a nice color. And so I am finishing that up, and you can see that I'm printing right on the washi tape. And now I'm kind of setting the next start, so it's not directly the same. So it's just a little bit off on that. And I started with my red, and now I'll go with my gray and stamp 2 grays, and then a red, and then another gray. So they're not exactly the same. So then all you have to do is, using a white eraser, just gently erase that line in between there, and then you have perfectly lined up background part. And I'm going to use that. That's my main thing. So I'm going to set that and have that go across. So I'm going to glue that down on that, and then I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to cut off the little strips. So this way it is perfect, and it's perfectly lined up. And that looks great. And Frenchie's going to go right there. And I want to use one of the other sentiments down in the lower right hand corner, and I want to heat emboss this. So I'm using this You plus Me equals We, and I'm using my Versamark ink, and I'm just going to get that all nice and sticky, and then I want that in the lower right. And that looks good. And then I'm going to use my embossing powder, and I'm just sprinkling a little bit of the embossing powder on, and then flipping it over and just kind of tapping it off. And it looks pretty good, but there's still just a couple of the little remnants. And I always keep on my desk a little brush. It's just, I think it was in one of my kids' craft boxes, and I just keep it just to kind of remove some of the excess there. And I'm going to go heat emboss that. So there it looks all done, and I'm going to attach Cody on with my foam squares, and I'm going to put him there. And I like that. And I just want to add one last touch, and that's with my white gel pen. I just want to add kind of like a sparkle in his eye, 2 little white dots on his eyes, so that he has a nice little sparkle. And so check out this brand new set from Some Odd Girl that is available in December, and it's Frenchie Cody. Hope you enjoyed the card. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great day. Bye.